Welcome back to Newscentre. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Israel for his two-day state visit. The high-profile visit marked his second trip to Tel Aviv since 2017. The visit is aimed at deepening trade and defence ties. Netanyahu called Modi his brother and conferred him with the Speaker of the Knesset Medal, the highest honour of the Israeli parliament, in recognition of his leadership in strengthening and deepening the strategic ties between India and Israel. Prime Minister Modi addressed Israel's Knesset, the first Indian Prime Minister to do so, reaffirming India's firm support for Israel against terrorism. He highlighted India's economic rise to become a top-3 global economy alongside Israel's innovation prowess, committing to expand ties in defence, trade and technology. PM Modi paid respects at Yad Vashem, Israel's official Holocaust memorial in Jerusalem, laying a wreath and honouring victims alongside Netanyahu. Prime Minister Modi held delegation-level talks with the Prime Minister of Israel, following which several MoUs were signed in their presence. India and Israel inked a series of agreements spanning economic cooperation, security, diplomatic engagement after the discussions concluded.
आपसी निवेश को बढ़ावा देने के लिए हमने पिछले वर्ष बायलैटरल इन्वेस्टमेंट एग्रीमेंट किया। हम शीघ्र ही एक म्यूचुअली बेनिफिशियल फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट को भी अंतिम रूप देंगे। टेक्नोलॉजी हमारी भावी साझेदारी का केंद्र है।
The future belongs to those who innovate, and Israel and India are bent on innovation. We are proud ancient civilizations, very proud of our past, but absolutely determined to seize the future, and we can do it better together.
We're now joined by Anat Bernstein-Reich, President of the Israel-Asia Chamber of Commerce and Chair of the India-Israel Chamber of Commerce as well, and Ashok Sajjanhar, former Indian ambassador. Thank you very much for joining us. Anat, both sides have decided to elevate the partnership to a strategic one. What do you think will be the big takeaways for the businesses on both sides?
I think that the government G2G collaboration and the MOUs that were signed were in the G2G level gives a signal to the business community, both in Israel and in India, that we need to do more business together. When Modi points into a direction, he is being followed. And just a few minutes back, I had a discussion with an investment banking firm in India for future collaboration. So it happens immediately. And our bilateral trade, I think it's still too low, and we need to triple it. And I think that the FTA that I believe within the next month will be signed, the heads of terms are already signed, will give us tools to cut customs, to cut bureaucracy, to really see each other as strategic partners, and not just in defense, but as it mentioned here, also in industry and in education and in agriculture. One of the MOUs that was signed that is to open more excellence centers in India. At the present, there are about 40 excellence centers that takes Israeli agriculture technologies to the Indian farmers, and we need more. They are talking about reaching 100 such excellence center in the various fields of agriculture, and this is definitely something that we need to do together.
All right. Let me also get in Ambassador Sajjanhar. Ambassador Sajjanhar, when it comes to taking the defence partnership forward, how do you think this visit paves the way for closer defence cooperation, be it joint development, joint manufacturing?
Yeah, thank you very much, Parikshit. You're very right. I think it is security and defence which has really formed the pivot of the bilateral partnership. And it's been going on for the last several years. And what the reports seem to indicate is that today Israel has emerged as the second largest exporter of armaments to India, next only to France. But I think going forward, it is sought to be changed from a purely buyer-seller relationship to one in which, as you mentioned yourself, co-designing, co-production, co-manufacturing. So innovation from Israel comes to India, and it takes the scale of India, because India has that capacity to produce at scale, and that will be used not only for the benefit advantage to meet the requirements of our two countries, India and Israel, but I'm sure these products will also find ready market in other countries. And then we've been
Right.
talking about, we have seen that the performance of the Israeli equipment, whether it was in Kargil or it was in the Ops Sindoor, they have acquitted themselves very creditably. So there are more ambitious ventures in the pipeline in future. People have been talking about the Sudarshan Chakra, the Iron Dome, replica of the Iron Dome, and how to work on that. And I'm sure that is also would have been discussed, and the way forward, that is also something.
All right. Anat, coming back to you, what do you think are Israel's priorities when it comes to attracting investments from India? Which are some of the sectors where the Israeli delegation would be wooing Indian businesses? And what would be, for example, your areas of interest for investment or exploration in India?
I think that the Indian investors will find here amazing opportunities in the cyberspace, in the AI, which everybody is talking about. There was a big delegation of Israelis in the AI summit last week in Delhi. Anything to do with defense tech, UAE, drones, we have ample of technologies in this space. Energy, alternative energy is available in Israel. The automotive industry, the smart mobility opportunities are here. New batteries is relevant to India, and we can collaborate here. And of course, new materials. Another area which is very booming in Israel is food technologies, alternative proteins, milkless milk, and fishless fish, meatless meat. All those areas that are booming in Israel can be very relevant to India, which will appreciate those technologies and can invest in this in Israel and actually take it to India. We look at the Indian investor as a strategic investor. We're not looking for financial investors. This is not the issue. The Indian investor brings money, but he will also bring India and the Indian market, the market and manufacturing. Every Israeli company, when they're looking at India, they're looking beyond just the dollar or the rupee. It's actually partnership for a long term. India opens the market for Israeli products not beyond India, but also to countries that we don't have access to yet, like several of the Gulf countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, those countries that Israel still don't have diplomatic relations. So India can be the manufacturing hub, but also access to new additional markets in Southeast Asia.
All right. Thank you very much, Anat Bernstein. Thank you for joining us, and thanks to Ambassador Sajjanhar as well. So it was indeed a very momentous occasion for the two Prime Ministers, and will pave the way for closer ties and possibly an India-Israel FTA very soon. That's all we have time for here on Newscentre. More news and updates right here.